Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Friday Night Frights with Kevin B. I'm your host, Kevin Blood. Tonight's film is a oldie but a goodie, and it's copyright free, so I don't have to worry about getting by YouTube or Facebook. So this is public domain, yo. So how's everybody doing tonight? I hope you guys had an excellent week. Stephanie Pinnell, welcome. Thank you for joining. Watching on YouTube and pumped. I lost power last Friday due to a car accident, so I missed out. Well, I'm sorry that I hope nobody was injured, but you're here tonight. Tonight's going to be a good movie. Tonight's film is 1959's House on Haunted Hill. And this is the one that's got Vincent Price in it. It's an awesome movie. For its time, I think it was good for its time. So welcome, everybody. Again, thanks for joining me. Tonight we're streaming on both the Kevin B Entertainment Facebook pages. I don't think the group will let us stream to that, but we're also on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. And if you are not showing up in my feed with a name and a photo, if you go to, and I'll put this on the screen, go to StreamYard.com/Facebook. There. Just put it in the chat. Go there and click to allow StreamYard to see your posts and your name and whatnot. It doesn't do anything to you. It just makes it so that I can see who I'm talking to. So, yeah, I think tonight's going to be a good one. Now, keep in mind, this is the last show of October. November, November's shows are all themed for my good buddy, Jason Voorhees. No, I cannot see your picture. You come up looking as Facebook user. That's all that. But if you go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and just click allow or whatever it says there, your name should show up. So now I've got to make a request of everybody. Before we start the film, okay, Lisa, if you can't make that work, just make sure you put like LB after your statements and I'll know who you are. But like I said, if you click allow, it won't do anything to your Facebook. It just allows me to see who is talking. Hey, Bree, welcome to the show. You're here just in time. We're about to start the movie. And tonight's film is House on Haunted Hill from 1959. It's the one with that guy, Vincent Price. So I'm excited to watch this. But one thing I need everybody to do is, and this will work, this will turn out better if you're watching this on a TV in a living room or a room that you can shut the lights off. You need to shut off your lights and turn your volume as loud as you can. And if everybody in here, because there's 4 people watching that I can see, go ahead and just let me know if you've done what I've asked. Oh, Bree, it's going to be a good one. I mean, for its time, it's going to be a good one. It's not anything like what you would see today. This is in black and white. And some of those movies, those were some of the best horror flicks that were ever put out. So, yeah. So make sure that you can shut off your lights. And sorry guys, I'm checking YouTube to make sure I'm not getting any warnings or anything. I'm trying to be vigilant and staying on that. Bear with me just a second here. Okay, that's muted. All right, perfect. Oh, wait, I saw something. All right. Okay, so. Okay. All right, guys. So make sure, like I said, make sure you shut off the lights and turn the volume on whatever device you're using up as to the max volume. Frank, you made it. Well, we'll blame it on the interwebs. I don't know what to tell you. Unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about it. Okay. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get this party started. Again, this is 1959's House on Haunted Hill. I hope you guys enjoy. Like I said, make sure you shut off the lights and crank your volumes and just check this out. Gotcha.
The ghosts are moving tonight, restless, hungry. May I introduce myself? I'm Watson Pritchard. In just a minute, I'll show you the only really haunted house in the world. Since it was built a century ago, 7 people, including my brother, have been murdered in it. Since then, I've owned the house. I've only spent one night there, and when they found me in the morning, I was almost dead.
I'm Frederick Lauren, and I've rented the house on Haunted Hill tonight so that my wife can give a party. A haunted house party. She's so amusing. There'll be food and drink and ghosts, and perhaps even a few murders. You're all invited. If any of you will spend the next 12 hours in this house, I'll give you each $10,000, or your next of kin in case you don't survive. Ah, but here come our other guests. It was my wife's idea to have our guests come in funeral cars. She's so amusing. Her sense of humor is, shall we say, original. I dreamed up the hearse. It's empty now, but after a night in the house on Haunted Hill, who knows? This is Lance Schroeder, a test pilot, so no doubt a brave man. But don't you think you can be much braver if you're paid for it? And I happen to know that Lance needs the $10,000 I'll give him, if he's brave enough to stay all night. This is Ruth Bridges. You've no doubt read her column in the newspapers. She says her reason for coming to the party is to write a feature article on ghosts. She's also desperate for money, gambles. You've already met Watson Pritchard. A man living in mortal fear of a house, and yet he is risking his life to spend another night here. I wonder why. He says for money. This is Dr. David Trent, a psychiatrist.
So do you guys
He
like the
claims
way
that
I've
my
got
ghost
this
will
set
help
up with
his
me
work
down
on
here in the lower
hysteria.
corner? Is that good for you
But
guys?
don't you see a little touch of greed there? Around the mouth and eyes? This is Nora Manning. I picked her from the thousands of people who work for me because she needed the 10,000 more than most. Supports her whole family. Isn't she pretty? The party's starting now, and you have until midnight to find the house on Haunted Hill.
Now, just so you guys know, although this was one of Allied Artists' most profitable films of that period, it fell into public domain despite the widespread availability on home video. The current 2018 holder of the Allied Artists library, Warner Brothers, still receives booking for 35mm release prints. Also, the failure of the original copyright holder to renew the film's copyright resulted in it falling into public domain, meaning that virtually anyone could duplicate and sell a VHS/DVD copy of the film. Therefore, many of the versions of this film available on the market are either severely and usually badly edited and or of extremely poor quality, having been duped from second or third generation or more copies of the film. And if there, for those of you that don't know who Vincent Price is, maybe you'd be more familiar with him if you go and listen to Michael Jackson's Thriller. I'm glad that I was able to scare somebody out there with that little stunt at the beginning. Well, how about I turn that down a little bit? You scared the shit out of me and Kathy. You're welcome.
Well, where is everybody?
And that's what Friday Night Frights is all about, guys.
Only the ghosts in this house are glad
If I
we're
ever
here.
have the chance to give you a jump
Are
scare,
we all
boom
strangers to each other?
shakalaka.
Don't you two know each other?
I'm afraid I don't even know your name.
I'm Nora Manning.
Lance Schroeder.
Is Frederick Lauren a friend of yours?
I've heard of him, but I've never met
As
him.
long as y'all are
I
having
work for
fun,
one of his companies, but I've never
that's
seen him.
what's important.
I've never met the man either. Just a phone call. Do you know him?
No,
Well, then you're the
Good.
only one of us who
Cool.
does.
I don't know him. All the details about running the house were done by mail.
Thank you, Frank.
He's quite
Day.
wealthy, isn't he?
Appreciate that.
Millions.
And 5 wives, I believe.
4, I think, so far.
A $50,000 party for only 5 people is a little steep, even for a millionaire.
Well, if I were going to haunt anybody, this would certainly be the house I'd do it in.
Who closed the door?
This thing's made of solid steel.
Spooky. So I'm going to spit out some facts here and there. Now, all the information that I'm providing you guys with, I have found on imdb.com.
Annabelle.
So
Our guests are
apparently,
here,
the exterior shots of the
fortunately
haunted
still
house,
alive. Is your face
primarily
on yet?
during the opening sequence, were filmed at the Ennis Brown House, located at the Los
Dust and dirt everywhere, and the water
Feliz
barely trickles.
neighborhood of Los
Couldn't you have had the
Angeles.
place cleaned?
Atmosphere, darling. You know how ghosts
Designed
are.
by
They
Frank
never
Lloyd
tire you.
Wright and built in
That's
1924,
a
it's
very
listed
fetching
on the
outfit, but
National
hardly
Register of
suitable for a
Historic
party.
Places.
I'm not going to the party.
The spend the night ghost party was your idea, remember? Since it's going to cost me $50,000, I want you to have fun.
The party was my idea until you invited all the guests. Why all these strangers? Why none of our friends?
Friends? Do we have any friends?
No, your jealousy took care of that.
I had a reason for inviting each guest. I wanted kind of a cross-section. From psychiatrist to typist, and from drunk to jet pilot. They share one thing. They all need money. Now let's see if they're brave enough to earn it.
And you call this a party?
Could be.
Why do you always do that? It spoils the champagne.
It might explode.
Never does.
Would you guarantee that?
That isn't funny, Frederick.
Make a good headline. Playboy kills wife with champagne cork. Will you join me?
No, thank you.
Just a sip might improve your humor.
My humor is fine, thanks.
Okay, that was
And I haven't poisoned it.
the
It's always
opening
good
of
to
the
know that.
champagne. You're just getting and shaking the crap out of it, man. That should have sprayed everywhere.
Have some. You'll enjoy the party more.
Hmm.
Go on.
So just so you guys know, the $10,000 offered to each of the guests in 1959 would be equal to over $92,000
And
in
I'm not going to the
2021.
party,
Of all my wives, you're the least agreeable.
but still alive.
Would you go away for $1 million and tax-free? You want it all, don't you?
I deserve it all. Your jealousy isn't tax-free, and your possessiveness is maddening.
If ever a man had grounds for divorce,
But can't prove them.
the time will come.
I know, right?
You'll slip up one of these days,
He was awesome.
Think so?
if I live long enough. You remember the fun we had when you poisoned me?
Something you
Remember
ain't
the fun we
done.
had when you poisoned me?
Yes. Arsenic on the rocks. Annabelle, you'd do it again if you thought you could get away with it, wouldn't you?
Darling, what makes you think that?
Something about you. I hear that hanging is very uncomfortable.
So again,
You
thank
should
you
get
everybody
in
for
line.
joining. We're watching
Don't let the ghosts and the ghouls
1959's
disturb you, darling.
House on Haunted Hill.
Darling, the only ghoul in the house is you.
And don't sit up all night thinking of ways to get rid of me. It makes wrinkles.
This is what she used on my brother and her sister. Hacked them to pieces. We found parts of the bodies all over the house, in places you wouldn't think. The funny thing is, the heads have never been found.
I got 3 letters for that
Things like
guy.
that.
CLB.
The wife, probably in a rage, threatened the husband with a knife and then, carried away by hysteria, took a swing at him and simply went on from there.
She certainly went on. How many people did she kill, Mr. Pritchard?
Only 2. Her husband and her sister. No one else was here.
So there are 2 loose heads just floating around in here somewhere?
You can hear them at night. They whisper to each other and cry.
Since our host isn't here, would anyone care to mix me a drink?
Certainly. What will you have?
Good evening. I'm your host, Frederick Lauren. Since we're all strangers to each other, let's get acquainted with a drink, shall we?
Mr. Lauren, I advise you to call
That
this
is
party
the
off
question,
now.
Frank.
The ghosts are already moving, and that's a
Who
bad
haunts
sign.
the haunted house?
Let me
that
apologize for
sits
my wife.
upon
She'll join us
Haunted Hill?
later. What will you have?
Scotch and
Doctor?
I'll have the same.
Now, before the party begins, let's go over the
Little
details.
spooky humor for you. Did
The
you know
caretakers will leave at midnight,
farts are just
locking
ghosts
us
of
in
the
here
food that
until
you
they
ate?
come back in the morning. Once the door is locked, there's no way out. The windows have bars that a jail would be proud of, and the only door to the outside locks like a vault. There's no electricity, no phone, no one within miles, so no way to call for help.
Like a coffin.
So if any of you decide not to stay for the party, you must let me know before midnight. Of course, if you leave, I shan't be able to pay you anything.
I'm interested in
so
your
we got a
reasons for this,
few more people joining us.
aside from the pleasant
Nobody's
company.
joining us on Twitch yet.
Ghosts, Doctor. I think everyone wonders what they would do if they saw a ghost. And now my wife has given us all the opportunity to find out.
Amusing. Ghosts, etc., being only creations of hysteria, your party should be a success.
Well, Pritchard here promises us genuine ghosts.
7 now. Maybe more before morning.
That's cheerful.
4 men have been murdered in this house. And 3 women.
You planned your party very well, Mr. Lauren. 4 of us are men, 3 are women. A ghost for everybody.
Well, Pritchard, why don't you take us on a tour through the house and let's see what happens, huh?
See that stain? Blood. A young girl was killed here. And whatever got her wasn't human. Don't stand there.
What do you mean? Where?
It's too late. They've marked you.
Ridiculous. The roof probably leaks.
Oh, that must be what it is. Who would want to haunt me?
I would say any self-respecting male ghost.
I hope it doesn't come back.
Well, Mr. Pritchard, you're the life of the party.
He hasn't even started yet. Wasn't there a man who threw his wife into a wine vat or something?
That was in the cellar. There's been a murder almost every place in this house.
So if you guys are just joining us, we are watching 1959's House on Haunted Hill, starring Vincent Price. More useless info for you guys.
All this belonged to a Mr. Norton.
The large grosses for this film were noticed by Alfred Hitchcock. This led him to create his own low-budget horror film,
Mr.
Psycho,
Norton
in
did a good deal of
1960.
experimenting with wines. But his wife didn't think it was any good. So he filled the vat with acid and threw her in. She was supposed to stay down. But the bones came up. It's a funny thing. But none of the murders
Hope you
here
guys
were
are
just
enjoying the
ordinary.
film. I'm trying not to talk too
shooting.
much, but
Or stabbing. They've all been sort of wild, violent, and different.
Look out!
God, she didn't fall in.
You mean there's still acid in there?
that's the biggest deep fat
Destroys
fryer I've ever
everything
seen in
with
my
hair and
life.
Flesh. Just leaves the bones.
Thank you, Frank. Appreciate it.
My, it's dry and dusty down here.
Well, there's a cure for that upstairs. Come on.
How'd you get invited to this party? No. Oh, go on. I mean, what did he tell you?
Mr. Lawrence said everybody'd get $10,000.
But he didn't say anything about being locked in.
No.
He just made a deal with me on the phone, but nothing about having to stay.
Aren't you going to stay?
If I don't, I lose $10,000.
I'm going to stay, too. $10,000.
Yeah. You believe in ghosts?
I don't know.
Well, I agree with what that doc says. You can spook yourself. I've done it in planes. Seen things that weren't really there. Or were they? What are you going to do with your $10,000? If we get it.
What do you mean, if we get it? Won't he pay us if we stay?
Ah, sure he will. 10,000 is no more to him than a nickel is to us.
We were in an automobile accident. Now I'm the only one in the family who can make any money.
Boy, I've never seen so many doors. Closet. Bottles.
Does it go anywhere? Lance! Lance!
Please, come on. Did she say Lance is gone? Gone where?
So, guys, if you're just joining us, we're watching 1959's House on Haunted Hill, starring Vincent Price.
We'll have to break it down. It's locked.
It's a good film. We like the old ones, too. You got to appreciate the old ones.
You all right? Nothing that money won't cure. I must have bumped my head.
And the only way you could bump your head in here is to run head on into the wall. You didn't do that, did you? Let's get a bandage on that.
I wonder why they didn't kill him.
Who?
He didn't bump his head. They hit him.
They?
Nora, when you came in, you said something about a ghost.
There was something.
What did it look like?
Well, it was wearing a black thing that went all the way to the floor.
Weren't you a little frightened at the time?
Well, yes.
That, Mr. Loren, is hysteria.
Well, then, Doctor, how do you explain what happened to Lance? Was that hysteria, too?
You better get that checked in a day or so.
Thanks, Doc. Wait for me in the hall.
The ghosts are coming closer, Mr. Loren.
You really believe in your pet ghost, don't you, Pritchard?
Before the night's over, you will, too.
Would you like a drink, Lance?
No, thanks.
I'd like one. Scotch and.
Mr. Loren, are you really going to pay anyone who stays all night?
Certainly. $10,000.
Will there be much red tape or delay?
You in a hurry, dear?
Frankly, yes. Or frantically.
There you are, my dear.
Someone or something was
Yay.
in here when I came in.
Thanks
Where?
for joining, Steph.
And if the door was locked, how did it get out? What you saw might have been a ghost, Nora, but what was in here with me was no ghost.
I don't know. I was so scared.
Does it sound different to you?
Yes.
Three, 6, 9, 12. 12 feet. Three, 6. Now, I'm going to knock on the other wall. When you hear me, you knock on this wall. Tap lower down.
Where the hell did that come from?
Oh, Lance! I saw it again.
Where'd it come from?
Almost looks like Grandma
here.
off of the Addams Family.
What if it ran out of here? I'd have seen it.
Lance, it doesn't run. It just floats.
Yeah, but why didn't I see it?
You don't believe me.
Well, how can I?
That's it. I'm leaving.
I'm Annabelle Loren. You must be Miss Manning. I realize this is a very unusual and I'm afraid very dull party. Wouldn't you like to freshen up? This is your room. Depressing, isn't it?
I doubt if I'll spend much time here.
It's going to rain. Perfect atmosphere for my husband's party. Why did you come here?
He said he'd give me $10,000.
Why did he pick you?
I don't know. My supervisor just came and said I'd been invited.
How long have you known my husband?
I just met him tonight.
So? Why you? What were you doing wandering around by yourself?
Well, I was in the cellar with Lance. Mr. Schroeder, and I just left, that's all.
Don't do it again. Don't go anywhere in this house by yourself. Now fix your face and I'll come by for you in a few minutes.
But
You're in danger. We all are.
but who?
I hope for your sake you never find out. I'm Annabelle Lauren. Were you looking for something?
Not exactly.
Are you the doctor?
No, I'm Lance Schroeder.
The pilot.
Oh,
You've hurt
why?
yourself.
She was pretty
Oh,
good
it's,
looking for her
just a
age.
bump on the
Well,
head.
back in those days.
Which is my room?
I believe this is it.
Thank you, Mrs. Lauren.
Annabelle Lance. You were with the young girl in the cellar. Why was she so upset?
Was she?
And you don't look like the type to go around bumping his head. What really happened, Lance?
Well, Nora thought she saw a ghost, but I didn't see anything.
She was just frightened then.
And mad at me, I think. I kidded her about it.
I wouldn't joke about anything else that happens here tonight.
Now, don't tell me you're taking all this seriously.
Aren't you?
Well, I'd like to find out what hit me.
Lance. If I need help, may I count on you?
Sure, I guess so. Look, what's going on here anyway? I mean, what is with this party bit?
This is no party. He's planning something.
Your husband?
I wish I knew what it was.
Must be pretty big if he's going to lay out 50,000.
The money doesn't mean anything. He has a reason for getting us all up here to this dreadful old house.
Well, what for? He doesn't even know us.
Maybe that's exactly why you're here.
Well, what can he get away with?
Oh, he thinks that big money like his can get away with anything. You know, of course, that I'm his fourth wife. The first simply disappeared. The other two died. Lance, I don't want to join them.
You mean he,
Oh, his doctor said they died of heart attacks. 2 girls in their 20s.
Well, what can he do?
My husband is sometimes insane with jealousy. Nothing matters to him then. Please be careful.
Would he hurt you?
He would kill me if he could.
They try not to talk through the dialogue because I don't want you guys to miss the dialogue. Because a lot of the times the dialogue is very important.
Annabelle, you're missing all the fun. Nora Manning was almost killed by a falling chandelier. The pilot bashed his head in.
Is he badly hurt?
The Saturnine psychiatrist bandaged him up. Don't you want to go and console him, as you do most men, in your fashion?
You're so clever, Frederick.
So I lie awake nights wondering why I married you. It was rather a mistake.
You didn't marry me, dear. I married you. Unpleasant, but no mistake.
Hurry up.
Frederick, for the last time, I'm not going to your party.
And for the last time, it's not my party, but yours. And you are going.
I am not.
You ready, dear?
No.
Are you ready, dear?
Yes, damn you.
Would you adore me as much if I were poor? No. All you want to be is a lovely widow. It's almost time to lock up the house. Then your
There's no
party
way
will
to treat a
really
lady,
begin.
mister. Just
I
saying.
wonder how it'll end.
We here at Kevin B Entertainment do not condone that type of behavior.
It's close to midnight, Lance.
Okay. I'll be down in a minute.
host, my dear. It's almost midnight, Nora. We're all going to get together down in the living room.
All right, Mr. Lloyd. I'll be right down.
And for those of you that are not aware, it's almost midnight. Those were the very first lyrics of Michael Jackson's Thriller. Bobby T,
Come with us.
thanks for
Come with us
joining.
before he kills you.
Welcome. What did I say, Frank?
Where's Nora? Miss Manning.
I'm sure I screwed it up.
Don't want to stay here.
Nora, what happened?
So, Bobby, in case you're wondering what we're watching 1959's House on Haunted Hill.
That's Jonas Slides and his wife. They've been caretakers here for years. She's blind, you know.
I'm not going to stay here.
Well, Doctor, it looks like we have a real case of hysteria on our hands.
I think she's just a little upset, not hysterical.
Good evening.
Hello, my dear. This is my wife. These are our guests. Ruth Bridges, Dr. Trent. You know Watson Pritchard, of course. Nora Manning, and this is Lance Schroeder.
Get me out of here.
Wow.
Now, what about the 10,000?
I don't care. He wants to kill me.
Who wants to kill you?
Mr. Lord.
May I have your attention, please? I think you all remember the bargain we made about staying all night. $10,000 apiece. If any of you don't survive, $50,000 will be divided amongst the rest of you. If I should die, you will be paid by my estate. When the door is locked from the outside by the caretakers, we'll all be forced to stay in this house until morning. If any of you decide not to stay, you must leave with the caretakers now. You won't have a chance to change your minds later, because there'll be no way to get out.
Somebody already asked a similar question to that, Bobby. That's funny.
It isn't midnight yet. Who told them they could leave?
They never leave before midnight.
Well, they've gone now. I was going to ask you whether you wanted to stay or not, but it seems that the caretakers have made the decision for you. We're all locked in now.
But I don't want to stay.
And I'm sorry, my dear, but it's too late now.
Darling, haven't you had enough of the silly game? Get some cars up here for these people and let them go home. But pay them first.
This is your party, remember? In spite of my wife's faith in my ability to do the impossible, we will all have to stay in this house until 8 o'clock in the morning. But we have some party favors for you in these little coffins. This is my wife's idea. I must say, I think it's rather dangerous. I suppose you all know how to use one of these things, but in case you don't, You just press down on this lever with your thumb and then pull the trigger. You see, they're loaded.
These are no good against the dead, only the living.
Doctor? Lance? Nora?
Go ahead, take it.
Miss Bridges? And here's yours, dear.
I don't need it.
It was your idea. Who knows, you may want to use it on me before this night is over.
Throw these guns away. They won't do you any good.
I agree with Pritchard on that point, although not for the same reason.
Dr. Trent, don't you approve of our little party favors?
Suppose Nora had had a gun when she mistook the blind woman for a ghost.
I don't think anyone else is
No,
going
Bobby,
to walk
no
around in
boobs.
total darkness.
Oh, I'm sure we're not going to go running around the house shooting
No,
each
no
other,
boobs.
aren't you?
Who knows? Fear makes people do amazing things.
Mr. Pritchard, you said your sister-in-law killed a man and a woman here and cut them up? You said they found hands and feet, but they never found any heads. Would you like to see one of those heads? Would you all like to see one of those heads? Well then, just follow me.
Just follow her. She'll show you. You'll see.
Darling, I really don't need this.
Just go look in my suitcase. Just go look.
You get a gun. You get a gun.
it was
You
in
get a gun.
A woman's head.
Screw it. We all get guns.
I think you're a little upset. Would you care for a sedative?
Get out! Get out, all of you! All of you, get out of here and leave me alone! Just get out of here!
Juke it.
You think it's all right to leave her by herself, Doctor?
I wish she'd taken the sedative.
Well, what do you suppose she thought she saw?
They're closing in on her.
Look, Doc, I think somebody ought to stay with her.
There could be 1,000,000 people around her. But if they wanted her, they'd get her.
What if he's right?
He's too drunk to know what he's talking about.
I wonder. I'll join you in a minute.
Do you think it would do any good if you went in and talked to her?
Well, do you think there really was a head in her suitcase?
I don't know.
A thing like that would put me right over the edge.
But would you sort of stay up here, I mean, in case she needs help?
All right. I'll be in my room. Just call it.
Thanks.
So, if you are just joining us,
Are
first,
you
welcome
sure there are only 7 people?
to Friday Night Frights with Kevin B.
Except
I
for the
am
ghosts.
Kevin Blood.
I don't believe in ghosts. Nor
We
in
are
frightened
watching
women.
1959's
In Nora's case, it's gone
House
far
on
enough.
Haunted Hill.
Perhaps too far.
What do you suggest we do about it, Doctor?
Don't frighten her anymore.
Nora? Nora? Nora?
There's your head.
What do you know about this?
They've taken her. In a little while, she'll be one of them.
Where's Norton?
Where is she? It's too late. It's too late. You'll never find her again.
Pritchard, if you know where she is, you better tell me now.
She's gone. She's gone with them. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Let her down.
So I hope you guys are enjoying the film.
Nora?
She's dead, Mr. Lauren. Her wife hanged herself.
Suicide.
Nora,
Hide me, please, hide me.
what's the matter?
Hide me. He tried to kill me. He grabbed me and choked me and put me in that room. And then he went away and left me.
Who?
He thought I was dead.
Who?
Mr. Lord.
Are you sure about this?
I don't know. It was dark, but it must have been him.
Has anybody seen you since he left you?
I heard
If you're
some
just
people
joining
in that
us,
room, but I
welcome.
went by and nobody
Thanks for
saw.
joining us. We're watching House on Haunted Hill from 1959.
How?
Lauren said she committed suicide, but I think somebody killed her.
Him.
I'm sure you've come to the same conclusion I have.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, let's all have a meeting, discuss what to do. The living room?
Okay, in a minute. I've got to go downstairs. Now, you lock yourself in here and don't let anybody know you're here. If he thinks you're dead, he won't come here. And I'll get back as soon as I can. You'll be all right. And if you have to, you use it.
So beautiful. So greedy. So cold. What are you doing in here?
Wait. Don't we?
What do you mean coming in here?
I didn't want them to take her away.
You're drunk.
They will if you don't watch her.
You're drunk. All right, out with it, Bridget. Why did you come into this room?
I'm the only one who understands.
Understands what?
Your wife isn't there anymore. She's already joined them.
Bridget, I've had enough of your spook talk. Get out, you sot, and don't come back into this room again.
Where's what's-her-name? Nora.
I didn't disturb her since I don't think this concerns her.
No, you're right.
Mr. Loren, isn't there some way we can get out of this house now?
No, none at all.
We could try breaking out.
The only door to the outside is made of steel. The bars of the windows are set in solid stone. We gotta stay.
I'm not afraid of your ghosts, Bridget. But I am afraid. When we came here a few hours ago, the only thing we had in common was the $10,000 we'd get. Now, however, we share something else. The death of Mrs. Loren. So far tonight, one of us was almost killed by a falling chandelier. One of us was mysteriously slugged. One of us has been driven to the brink of absolute hysteria. And one of us is dead. Were these accidents? Suicide? And we must stay here for 6 more
In case
hours.
anybody heard the loud noise upstairs, that's Mia making racket. She's doing something with Haley with
I'm in it.
pumpkins, I think.
Who'll be next? How will it happen?
Let me ask you a question, Doctor. You were the first one to see my wife there. Did you also see anything that she could have climbed up on and then jumped?
No.
Did any of you? There was nothing. How then did she get up there so high?
Exactly, Mr. Loren. How? She couldn't have pulled herself up there. She couldn't have dropped from the ceiling. Do you think your wife killed herself?
No. She was murdered by one of you.
Or you, Mr. Loren. To deliberately kill someone, you must have a reason.
We were all strangers to your wife. Only you had a motive for murder.
What husband hasn't at some time wanted to kill his wife? What husband hasn't had 1,000 opportunities to do it in such a way so that he'd never be suspected? I'm not such a fool as to hang my wife from a ceiling by a rope.
The fact remains that you, or one of us, murdered Mrs. Loren. And that's a matter for the police.
So how do we get the police?
That's my point. We can't until morning. What began as a silly party given by an eccentric has
I'm
now
glad you're
involved
okay.
us all in murder.
For once, Pritchard may be right. If another murder's in the works, let's stop it now.
Another murder.
Why not? Maybe one of us saw too much.
Why should even a millionaire want to give each of us $10,000 to spend one night in a gloomy old house? To see some ghosts, have a party? No.
Have you finished trying me, Doctor? And is the verdict guilty of murder?
Oh, this isn't getting us anywhere. Somebody killed Mrs. Loren. We know that. One of us is guilty and the rest of us are innocent. Okay. Now, what we have to do for the next 6 hours is protect ourselves from each other.
You really think?
I don't think anything. I just know that I'm going to my room. And if anybody comes in, I'll shoot him. Or her.
And if we all stay in our rooms, we'll be safe. Because the innocent will have no reason to leave his room. And the guilty will admit his guilt if he or she does.
And we all have guns.
And we're all agreed?
I wish this night were over.
Brooms? Guns? I tell you, it doesn't make any difference. They aren't through with us yet. What's the use of saying goodnight?
Cassandra Peterson, also known as Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, once said on Larry King Live back in 1985 that this was her favorite horror film.
Good night, Doctor.
I've seen this movie a couple times. Hope you guys are having a good time. I'm enjoying watching this film with you guys. Wouldn't mind seeing a little more chats going on there. Feel free if you've got an opinion. Try to keep it clean. I heard that that was actually her personal ring on her finger.
Nora, it's me, Lance.
It wasn't like costume jewelry.
You okay? They've all gone to their rooms and locked themselves in.
Lance, I've been thinking. It was so dark down there. Maybe it wasn't Mr. Lorne.
It was him, all right. He tried to kill you, and he did kill his wife.
How can you be so sure?
She tried to warn me, asked me to help her. The doc thinks he's going to try and kill one of us. Now, there must be a way out of this place, and I'm going to find it and get the police before he does.
I'm going with you.
What if he finds out you're alive? No, Nora. You're safer here than any place else.
If he finds out you're alive, he'll kill you. Then you won't be alive anymore.
If I find a way out, I'll come back and get you.
That's right. Live like you were dead. For anybody just joining, we are watching House on Haunted Hill, 1959. I forgot the name of the movie. I didn't quite understand this part of the movie. Okay, so I'm wrapping a rope around your ankle because I'm spooky. Spooky! What's her feet go? So for me, it went from spooky to oh, okay. What's going on, Nate? Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining, buddy. I'm not sure what that's saying.
An admission of guilt, Doctor?
Certainly not. There's either somebody else in this house or one of us has left his room. Did you hear anything?
Organ music?
That, and someone walking.
You got yours? Ready?
Hey,
You
looks
look
like we got
downstairs.
12
I'll look
viewers.
up
Thanks
here.
for joining.
Why not together?
We're watching
Maybe only minutes, seconds,
1959's
like
House on
someone's life.
Haunted Hill
Why waste time?
with Vincent Price. If you're just joining us, feel free to comment. Let us know who you are.
It's almost over, darling. Every detail was perfect.
Facebook user, I just put your comment up there on the screen. If you go to StreamYard.com/Facebook, click on that button that says allow Facebook to see, or StreamYard to see your Facebook,
A perfect
and
bride.
it'll allow us to see who you are.
Has she killed him?
Not yet, but she will.
Get me out of this hanging harness. What's taking that girl so long? What time is it?
At first, I couldn't get Nora to want to protect herself with a gun. But after you appeared at the window, everything began to work just as we had planned. You were wonderful. Just the touch that finally drove her into complete hysteria.
It'll be worth all of our planning, darling. Where's Nora now? What's happening?
On her way to the cellar. So scared she'll shoot the first thing that moves.
And Frederick?
On his way to the cellar, too.
David, are you sure none of them will suspect us?
Of what? An hysterical girl accidentally shoots somebody? Who would suspect that we planned it that way, that we drove her to it?
What about my suicide?
But just a ghost party gag. We'll claim it was a dummy since I'm the only one who touched you.
And the caretakers?
Well, they had no idea what they were really doing.
What about Nora? She's not stupid, you know.
Darling, believe me, everything we planned is working perfectly. Nora is sure Frederick murdered you. She thinks Frederick attacked her in the cellar, not me. And now Nora's almost out of her mind with fear. The heads, the music, you're hanging. I tell you, when Frederick
Yes,
walks in, she'll
indeed,
shoot him.
Frank.
It's taking too long.
This is really
David,
fun.
you ought to be there.
Dun dun dun. Oh. See, that's what happens when you mistreat her.
When you hear the shot.
She goes and gets it elsewhere. Vincent Price, you dum-dum. Duh.
No!
Oh. Man down! Man down! Man down. Pretty racy outfit for the time. She wore it well.
David?
I'll give her that.
David?
I'm researching that actually at the moment. Bobby, bear with me. I know the exteriors were an actual house. Just for so you guys know, the director used a gimmick called emergo in theaters.
At
When
last
skeleton
you've got
come
it
from the
all.
acid vat
Everything I
in
have,
the film,
even my life.
a lighted plastic skeleton
You're
on a
not
wire
going to
appeared
live
from a
to
black
enjoy
box
it.
next to
Come
the
with
screen
me,
to swoop over the
murderers.
heads of the audience.
Come with
The
me.
skeleton would then be pulled back into the box as the skeleton in the film is reeled in. Many theaters soon stopped using this effect because when the local boys heard about it, they'd bring in slingshots to the theater, and then when the skeleton started its journey, they'd pull out their slingshots and fire at it with stones, BBs, ball bearings, and whatever else they could find. Some other interesting information about this skeleton is that that's a real human skeleton they used. It was simply just faster and cheaper to buy a real human skeleton from a biological supply house than having one created by their special effects department.
Good night, Doctor. Good night, Annabelle. The crime you two planned was indeed perfect. Only the victim is alive and the murderers are not. It's a pity you didn't know when you started your game of murder that I was playing too.
There must be some way to get in here.
It's right along here
Lost
somewhere.
you fellas.
Lance! I've shot Mr. Loren. He's
So
down
the
in the wine
exterior
cellar.
shots were shot at the Ennis House
I don't
in
think so.
Los Feliz, California.
It's him.
So
He's
the bulk
alive.
of the film was actually shot on sound stages.
You didn't shoot anyone, my dear. I loaded your gun with blanks. I can tell you all now. Trent and my wife were planning to kill me. They failed. Trent tried to throw me in the vat. My wife stumbled and fell. I'm ready for justice to decide if I'm innocent or guilty.
So again, I hope you guys are enjoying the film. I think we're just about at the end of it. And I want to thank you guys for joining me.
Now there are 9. There'll be more, many more. They're coming for me now. And then they'll come for you.
Well, I'm glad that you enjoyed that film, Stephanie. I'm glad that you enjoy watching this show. I tried to make it entertaining, but at the same time, I gotta cover my ass and make sure that I'm not doing something that's gonna get me kicked off the air. Next month is gonna be cuckoo awesome. I've got some pretty good stuff lined up. November 5th is the first episode of November, and that starts the Friday the 13th themed films. Unfortunately, we cannot watch any of the Friday films, the actual Friday the 13th films. I know I'll get slapped around for that, so I'm not even going to try. So I'm doing the next best thing, and I'm featuring fan-made films. And I'm not saying that they're all fan films, but they are films made by fans of the franchise. Next week's show is going to be a good one. I'm hoping that I'll be able to have somebody on for an interview, but I can't promise anything yet. So I'm working on that. Let's see, the 5th of November is the first show of November. And then we go, I'm still trying to get somebody scheduled for the 12th. I've already got somebody scheduled for the 19th, possibly more. And I don't have anybody yet set up for the 26th. Now, I'm extending into December with the Friday the 13th theme for a reason, with the final film of them all being Rose Blood. And I'm hoping that Peter will be able to get Lar, maybe Terry on the show. That would be awesome. So we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully Peter Anthony. But Peter Anthony will be on the show. There's no question. That will happen. And I appreciate that, Nate. I appreciate that very much. And all the viewers that you guys bring in, I appreciate that too. Bobby said, if I made a movie, it'd be obviously banned from YouTube. Well, got to follow certain guidelines. So, all right, guys, I'm going to get off of here because I got other stuff I got to get done. It was awesome hanging out with you guys and watching House on Haunted Hill from 1959, starring Vincent Price. I appreciate y'all showing up. I really hope that you guys are enjoying these films. I do enjoy watching them with you. I really do. And I have written down your guys' suggestions as far as films are concerned. Ooh, excuse me, past my bedtime. And I'm still looking into those. So be patient. I'll see what I can do. That's mine too. Wait a minute. Jeez. All right, I'm gonna catch up on the comments here. You guys are awful. Yeah, and see, I know I got to be careful on Twitch on what I show there too. So, all right, guys. Again, thank you so much for joining me tonight for Friday Night Frights with Kevin B. I really appreciate you guys taking the time out of your lives to check this out. If you were not here in the beginning, make sure that when you go to rewatch it, first of all, make sure that it's nighttime. Make sure that it's dark. Shut off your lights and turn your volume on your device up all the way. Right in the very beginning. Oh, that's funny. Oh, that's funny. Well, thank you, Frank. You have a great night as well. And thank you guys. Because if you guys weren't here, I'd be sitting here watching these movies by myself. And what fun would that be? Not any fun for me. All right. All right, I got to get out of here before I go to sleep. So, hey, as always, don't forget, share this video. Let's see if we can't get more people in here. Remember, next Friday is the start of the Friday the 13th themed month. And the first film, I will announce the first film beginning next week. So stay tuned for that. Until then, don't forget, Kevin and Mia will not be on the main event this Wednesday because Mia's having a procedure and will not be up to it. So, but we'll be back the following week. We should be. So, all right, guys, until next week. Oh, by the way, have a happy and safe Halloween. Make sure that if you're taking your kids out, don't let people scare them too bad. I had that happen to me when I was a kid. It wasn't cool. So, all right, guys, thanks again. And we'll see you guys next week. See ya!